Michelle Prince, founder and CEO of Performance Publishing Group, making a difference one story at a time. We'll be shining the light on successful founders, entrepreneurs, business owners, and leaders that are getting results and making a difference. We'll talk about how they built their businesses, are creating movements, and leveraging the power of authority in their own lives. Be sure to stick around to the end of the show and we'll reveal how you can be our next guest. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Power of Authority Spotlight. I'm your host, Michelle Prince, and I cannot wait for you to meet our guest today. She's not only a SiriusXM radio host, a writer, a speaker, a media coach, but Sharrarne Morton is an exciting, charismatic SiriusXM radio host, TV commenter, speaker, and media coach who audiences really enjoy. For many years, Sharrarne was a regular guest commentator on ABC News affiliate in Washington, D.C., where she offered her views on local, national, and international news. Additionally, she has and continues to serve as a speaker and mistress of ceremonies for many organizations. She is a CEO and a businesswoman, CEO of Morton Media, a media consulting and training firm that helps businesses build their brand by placing them on TV and radio. Welcome to the show, Sharrarne.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for having me. I'm just really excited.
I am too. Well, we were talking a little bit in advance, and I was everything I could do to not ask you too many questions because I am so excited about our conversation. I am a huge believer in the power of media. I personally love media. I love TV, radio, podcasting, all of that. But you're doing something really unique and really special and something that I hadn't heard a whole lot about. So tell us more about your business and what you do at Morton Media.
Well, at Morton Media, I help to promote a person's brand. Most of my clients are business owners. And so they're, of course, looking to level up. And that means that they really need to learn how to leverage media, how to get on television, radio, and print. You know, if they don't have a podcast, then they need to know how to podcast. And one of the things that I help them to do as well is get on my national platform on SiriusXM Radio. And a lot of folks are always asking me, you know, how did I do that? How did I get to where I am? What did I have to do to get here? And I know those will be some of your questions, Michelle, but it's really important to know how to leverage media to expand your brand. Because if no one knows you, then you won't get any business.
No, absolutely not. In fact, we share that message because I have it for my authors. You know, we help people to get their story out of their head onto paper and use it to leverage it. But nobody is looking for that book yet, unless you have to build the brand, you have to build your authority. And a book is one way to open a door, but you know, the media it goes right along with it. They go hand in hand.
Yeah. It's one of the many ways, and it's not easy at all, but if you want to build your authority, like you say, you want to build your credibility, it's really important that you do a myriad of things. And writing a book is a great start, but you really have to get out there and do a lot more. Get in front of those TV cameras, get on radio, you know, get some articles written up, get into some magazines, get on the covers of some magazines, you know, do a lot of speaking. Those are some of the things that you really have to do to build your credibility and your authority if you want people to know who you are and you want people to recognize your brand.
Well, clearly you're extremely articulate, beautiful, you know what you're doing. And so I can see how you definitely can help people to better position themselves out there in media. But how did you get started in that? How did you become, one, fascinated with media, and two, become so successful at now that you're teaching others how to do it?
Well, I've always wanted to be in media. From the time I was a little girl, I knew I wanted to go into broadcast journalism. I used to hold my little hairbrush and interview my family members. And so, you know, once I went to high school, I started, you know, writing for the newspaper, and then I became the editor of my high school newspaper. And then I went off to college, Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and majored in broadcast journalism, and also had a radio show there on campus. So that was the exciting part of going to Rutgers. And once I got out of college, I began to work in politics, which I don't recommend for anyone, but I did. I needed a job, and I really got a great job coming out of college, and actually ran for public office, which I too don't recommend to anyone to
My
do.
gosh.
This was many, many, many moons ago.
Wow.
And I didn't win, and it was really a blessing in disguise because I didn't win, but I met so many people. That's another really important part about building your credibility and your authority. You've got to network, 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 and you've got to do it with decision makers, power brokers, people who can make those important decisions and put you into or in touch with people who have great opportunities.
Mm.
And so I met some fantastic people along the way. And ABC7 was looking for a female commentator for one show. They just wanted someone to come on for one show. Someone
Wow.
recommended me. I said, sure, of course. I'm just thinking,
Fun.
okay, one and done, right? Went there. I was the only female. I was the only woman of color on the panel. And it turned out to be that me and the three guys had great chemistry. The ratings went through the roof. People were calling into the studio. And that one stint turned into 14 years. I ended up being there for 14 years.
Wow. Okay, that's
So,
my roommate in college. That was her major. And so that is like a dream come true for something like that to happen. And
ah,
not happen to many people.
it was an absolute dream. It was luck. It was someone who knew me and who I knew. People always say it's who you know it is, but it's also who knows you.
Yes.
And it was just wonderful. I loved it. And from being on television, I was able to build my credibility even more because, truth be told, when you're in politics, you don't have a lot of credibility. People don't like politicians. But once I got on television, I was able to build my credibility and my authority. I got all of these speaking gigs. People were asking me to come to events. They were paying me to speak. I was going on radio shows. I was doing the whole thing. So that's when I began to build my own business, my media company, because I realized it's the media that carried me to that point.
And you know it so well, so you can coach others to do it. But talk about the SiriusXM piece of it is what I was talking about that is so unique.
Ah,
Because
okay.
I know, in fact, being a publisher, I know plenty of publicists and I know plenty of PR companies, and they work to get people on TV and all that. But this is so different and unique, and I want to know more about this.
Well, SiriusXM was another one of those lucky, coincidental, who knows me things that happened. The show on ABC7 was canceled after 14 years.
Mm.
And I began to work my business, even more. And I'd say about 4 or 5 months later, I got a phone call from a friend who was actually offered to do a show on SiriusXM Radio. And he did not know anything about radio. He didn't know how to produce a show. He didn't know anything. So he gave me a call. And he called me because I'd produced a TV show for him before. And he said, Sharrarne, can you help me produce this radio show? And will you be my co-host? I was like, absolutely. So that was another wonderful opportunity that fell in my lap. And from there, I was with him for 6 years. And while I was at SiriusXM, I pitched my own show. They greenlit it. And, it's just been really a blessing, to be honest.
So talk about what is it like to be on SiriusXM?
Well, once I got over the shock of it falling into my lap, it was really like with he and I, Carl Brown, one of my great friends and mentors, we had such great chemistry because we'd already known each other for quite some time. Our families knew each other. Our kids kind of grew up together, but it was exciting because we had a national platform. SiriusXM is placed in every new and used car that rolls off the lot. You get a 3-month free subscription. So people are pretty much familiar with SiriusXM. There's over 46 million listeners nationwide and growing. And so I was just so excited to have that kind of a platform because before, when I was on television, it was local television in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Not that we didn't have millions of viewers, but we didn't have 46 million, right? And so once we got on SiriusXM, and although it's one channel on Sirius with 100 other channels, we were just still so happy because we started out with a few 100,000 listeners, which you can't really ask for more than that. We were just excited. I'm still excited. I'm still happy to be a part of the family.
How do you see it different from podcasting? And we're on a podcast now, and that's another way to really build your platform with media. But how does it differ, or does it differ? Is it similar? Is it different? Obviously, the exposure is much greater.
Yeah, I was going to say exposure is the main difference. There's not a whole lot of difference when it comes to production, but it's the exposure. And, when you do a podcast, there's no one there that says, okay, well, you have to meet these standards.
Right.
Your audio quality has to be this level. You have to, follow this particular production or layout. So it's a little bit stricter, but in terms of actually just getting your message out there and people listening, it's the same. Wow. Just, you just have to be on your A game when you're on SiriusXM, because if you're not, they only want people who know what they're doing.
Of course.
And so that's the big difference.
That's the reputation of SiriusXM. If you have a show on SiriusXM, that speaks volumes, way more than, in my opinion, a podcast or anything like that.
And I don't want to belittle a podcast, because I think it is actually really important to have, if you, like you said earlier,
yes,
if you're trying to build your authority. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But SiriusXM, and just like terrestrial radio, if you're on a major terrestrial station, it's a level up. You're leveling up. So
exactly. And so I know plenty of people that would feel that they're ready to take their platform a little bit bigger. Maybe people have written books already. Maybe they have a podcast and they want to do something more. There's some shows, TV shows that I know of that many of my colleagues have done. What would it take for somebody who wants to get on SiriusXM, and how do you help them to do that?
Well, they can go to my website, SharrarneMorton.com, and my first name is a doozy in terms of the spelling. I don't know if you're going to have it up on the screen or not, but it's SharrarneMorton, Sharrarne Morton. That's the easy part, MORTON.com. And they can go to my website and they can reach out to me, and someone will get back in touch with them, and I can actually coach them and teach them how to be a co-host on SiriusXM Radio. So they'd actually work with me. Mm-hmm. And, after a couple of months of coaching and training and serving as guests on the show, and, we'll see how well they do. And hopefully I will feel that they're doing well enough to be a co-host. And if they are, that's a great thing for me, because sometimes I may not be able to do the show, so I'll let them sit in as the host. Mm-hmm. But they'd have an excellent opportunity to have a national platform. So
definitely. And do you coach people too on what their platform should be, like what their show should be, or is it kind of just go along with whatever their core message is in their business?
Well, it depends on what the message is. So if their business, for instance, has to do with helping other businesses to, get discounts on travel or something like that. Like I've had one travel agent, and she wasn't just your regular fly-by-night travel agent. She knew how to get the 5-star hotels at the 3-star prices. Wow. She was excellent. So if they have something that people need, that people want, mm-hmm. And they have the personality, you have to have personality, you have to connect with your audience, because they can't see you. This is all audio. They can only hear you. Mm-hmm. So you have to have a pretty decent voice. You have to have chemistry with me, of course. Mm-hmm. A personality. I don't want to have to pull the words out of your mouth.
Right.
You have to sound like you want to be there. And if you have those qualities, then that's a great start. If you have a good podcast, that's a wonderful start as well. So I like to listen to people's podcasts to see if, they're really good and they're connecting with their audience and they're keeping me engaged.
Right.
And if that's the case, then, they are a very viable candidate to be coached and then hopefully be my co-host.
That's awesome. Well, and you had mentioned too that everything is on the website. So definitely go to SharrarneMorton.com, which we will spell just again, just in case, SharrarneMorton Morton.com. But and you also have an offer that you do for listeners.
Yeah, for all of your wonderful listeners, you sign up to coach with me or have me coach you, and I offer a 15% discount. And so We'll talk to you, individually about that discount. And, it's just a 3-month coaching session. And at the end of 3 months, I'm hoping and praying that I've done my job and that you're going to make for a great co-host. And not only that, one of the other things that you will learn how to do is to produce a radio commercial. We call them spots in the business, as
Yeah,
you know,
let's talk about
Michelle.
that. Yes, talk about that.
Yeah, so one of the things that I also do is I, have advertisers that want to promote their business, their brand on the
Right.
show. And so they'll send me a script and, they pay me to advertise or to be a sponsor on the show. And I have to voice over the script and package it and air it on the show. And so I teach my clients how to do that, how to actually read the script the way the client wants them to read it,
Yes.
and how to package it and broadcast it. And then we do the same for the client's business. So if they have a business, we produce a commercial, or they produce the commercial along with me. I teach them how to do that. They voice over their own commercial, and then we air it on SiriusXM. So they get promoted as well.
That's great. Yeah, there's such an opportunity there.
Yeah. I think it's a good. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying, even for people who are thinking, well, maybe I don't know if I'm ready for my own show, but they still want to get that exposure. And
Right.
media is the way to do it. It really is. I am a huge supporter. So what do you see yourself doing after this? Like 5 years from now, what is the next plateau for you? What are you looking to do with your media?
I'd like to get back on television on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on that now. I'm also working on syndication because that's the other wonderful thing about SiriusXM. The show is your own. So you can syndicate it, you can send it out, you can do whatever you want with it. So that's a great thing. So I'm working on that. And hopefully, I'd say in 5 to 10 years, I'd like to maybe retire.
Right.
Yeah. The good news though about what I do is I can do what I'm doing on a beach, from a beach, or I just need my telephone and my cell phone. That's the telephone. I'm dating myself.
I know. I'm following that.
I just need my cell phone and my laptop, and I can do my shows from anywhere in the world. I can work with my clients from anywhere in the world. That's the wonderful thing about being in business for yourself. But my husband and I have raised our 2 children. He's retired. And so I'm looking to hopefully retire in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah. Well, and you got to make sure you pass this great information on to these hosts so that they can continue, helping other people. I think only Sirius is going to get bigger, and there's going to be other opportunities. So I just think that's a really great thing.
Sirius just bought Pandora, so they're growing. They're growing really large. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations for having
Thank
show.
you.
That's a big deal. And
yeah, it took a lot. And I do want, your listeners to know, as I'm certain you've talked to them about this, it is not easy, being your own boss, being an entrepreneur, whatever that entails, whether you're an author or speaker or whatever it is that you're doing, it's not an easy job to get on television, to get in front of a huge audience, to be on a national platform. As I mentioned, it just kind of fell in my lap. It was kind of luck and who I knew and who knew me. But I don't want anybody to think that it's all glitz and glamour. It's a lot of work putting together a show week in and week out. Usually I tape several shows a week. Yeah. And so I have to be on, you know what I mean, Michelle.
Yeah, no, I do.
And I think it's especially hard for women because we have to do hair and makeup.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we're judged differently. And so it's not easy. It's very rewarding. Mm-hmm. But it's not as glamorous as everyone would believe it to be, but it's rewarding, and I wouldn't do anything else.
Well, and anyone listening, probably people listening are business owners, entrepreneurs, founders, leaders. So I think they get that part of it, but it's true. Is it simple? Absolutely. Is it easy? It's just like a book. Is it simple? Yes, of course. It's not rocket science, but it does take, effort and work, but it's worth it. And, media is going to attract some folks more than others. And those that are great communicators who feel comfortable in front of a camera or uncomfortable in front of a mic or on a stage. That's not for everyone, no judgment either way, but for those that is something that you're just drawn to. I mean, this is just a great opportunity to showcase what you do in a bigger way.
Yeah. And it's an opportunity to make money too, because after all, that's mostly what we're in business for. I mean, we love it. We love doing it, but we have to eat, right?
Yes, there is a means to an end. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it is a great opportunity to make money. I mean, once I built my credibility and I was out there, I was getting speaking gigs they were paying great money, and it was, wonderful. And so that's a great opportunity too, because then you can sit back and people are inviting you. You're not out,
Right.
hustling and looking for those opportunities. They're coming for you, or coming to you, I should say. Yeah.
So question for you. What advice would you give to a new either leader or business owner that is looking to expand their brand, whether in any way, whether it's through a podcast, through a book, media, right? What would your advice be to someone starting out in that area?
I would definitely say get a mentor, someone who can help you to avoid those landmines that come along with building your business. Get someone who's been there, done that, and they can definitely show you sort of a roadmap that'll help you avoid those landmines. And hopefully it's a mentor that knows a lot of people and can get you the kinds of opportunities that would help you to expand your brand. That's what has helped me all along, is having or knowing people that helped me along the way. And so I'm here to help as many people as well too. But yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Always just have a mentor that can help you. It'll just save you so much time and energy and effort and heartache. Because your business is your baby, and sometimes it can break your heart if things don't go as planned. And in life, they just don't, as we all know.
Yep, that's so true. So true. Yeah, I agree. Don't recreate the wheel. Find somebody who's doing what you want to do.
That's right.
Well, once again, if you want to get in touch with Sharrarne, her website is sharrarnemorton.com, and that's SHARRARNE, Morton.com. And definitely take advantage of the 15% off her coaching. The offer there is so well worth it. And thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This has been wonderful, Michelle. I'm so glad to be a part of your podcast. You're doing wonderful things, and I'm just excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. And so for those listening, the Power of Authority Spotlight is all about, taking what you love, taking what you know, getting it out there on a bigger platform and shining that light so that you can benefit others. So whether it be through media, through a book, take action. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for listening to the Power of Authority Spotlight. If you're a successful founder, entrepreneur, business owner, or leader that's getting results and making a difference, and you'd like to be on this program, please visit us at go.michelleprince.com/podcast-guest to apply. That's go.michelleprince.com/podcast-guest. Also, if you got something out of this interview, please share this episode. Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend, or post it on the socials. If you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show, and include the hashtag #ThePowerOfAuthoritySpotlight. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content, so make sure you don't miss any episodes by subscribing. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, michelleprince.com, or performancepublishinggroup.com, or find me on social media. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.